Despite what their moms told them, they just aren't talented enough for radio. Unfortunately, anyone can have a show these days. Sean.
Well, I'm pretty hard to figure out sometimes. In fact, I can't even figure myself out sometimes, so don't you try to.
Joe.
You're an idiot and really a disloyal person.
This is the Cuse Militia. Those two unapologetically biased, orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
It's the most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
Welcome, orange men and ladies. Happy Tuesday. This is the Cuse Militia with Sean and Joe. Thank you so much for tuning in at Cuse Militia on the socials. Go there, join the militia, rate, review, subscribe. If you're listening on Apple iTunes, we appreciate all of you who have done so thus far. And new rule, if you leave anything below 5, you got to tell us why. All right? We're big boys. We can take constructive criticism.
No, I'm sure they're going to listen to the rule, right?
It's okay. I think it's mostly trolls, and I don't know where they come from, but I have a good idea. But it doesn't matter. Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Would a troll leave a 3-star, or would a troll just run in there, put a 1-star, and not say anything?
That's true. You know. Yes, a troll would leave a 1-star and not say anything. Yes. Yes, the 3-star, though, is maybe we are just a 3-star, and everybody else is just really nice to us. That's
what
possible.
I was trying to tell you.
That's possible.
Yeah. Maybe that's the first honest.
It is. It is. Real quick, before we get into the Boston College preview and the picks and the buy-seller holds, got a lot to do. I do want to revisit the quarterback stuff that we talked about last episode. Got a lot of feedback on that. Some sided with me, some sided with you. I mean, it was kind of mixed. I mean, I would be lying if I told you it didn't sway me a little bit that maybe, saying a start at Boston College is a little much. Okay? So I'm with you. I mean, I didn't go back and listen. You actually made your case very, very good during the show. So, and you and I did not talk about that before the show either. In fact, I didn't know where you stood, and you didn't even know where I stood. So, anyway, we got some buy-seller holds that pertain to that, but I do want to give Joe credit because this is why I still allow him to come on and help me do this show because he's smart. I mean, he thinks about some of the things that not even honestly, which like Joe should have. Well, I'm going to say it, but let's hope this doesn't happen. Joe should have, a blog somewhere. The problem is he doesn't know how to spell. So
yes, I do.
The editor would have a hell of a time. He does mostly shorthand, but I never read an article. Everything's kind of very one, in an echo chamber in Syracuse media on the quarterback stuff. And so you come here for the fresh takes. And that fresh take that time just happened to be Joe. All right? So good job, Joe.
You got to bring a little bit different perspective.
I know.
Be the devil's advocate, like you said, right?
So. Yeah, and sometimes it's tough when you're just had enough and you're sitting at 1-6.
Right.
And you feel like, you know what?
And you're like, it can't get worse than this, right?
And then you listen to Joe and you're like, well,
yes,
it could always get worse. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and if you even listen to, because Babers obviously had his press conference for
he's playing a little mind games, I would say.
Well, you go back and forth, right? But he even said, you could tell by his reaction when someone brought up even Dylan Markowitz. He was like, Dylan's a good quarterback. Like, it didn't even sound like it was like a guarantee. Like, it felt like it was just like next week or, at any time now, maybe another quarterback could come up as we don't even know how close the second string race is, right?
Well, you got to imagine Jacoby and Morgan is
obviously he's in the lead right now, right? But who knows what else is going on behind the scenes and how they're trying to prep him. Because if it is that close, then sometimes it's like, again, we talk about just clicks, and that one player can go over another player. So he didn't even make it seem like it was all 100% that Jacoby and Morgan by the end of the year would be the backup. So there's still questions there, you can tell.
Yeah, and he kind of made it seem like, too, that maybe – he's guessing. I guess he's keeping Boston College guessing. On the QB front.
Oh, he always does that.
Yeah, sure, right. And don't. My point is don't buy into the word games of any coach at SU. because they're trying to steer someone wrong.
A lot of coaches do that.
A lot of coaches do that, but yeah, I don't pay attention to other coaches. One more thing. Shout out to our good buddy, Giovanni Heater. I am so proud of this kid. He had a piece at CNY Central. He was interviewed by Nico, and Syracuse.com I saw right before we came on did something with him too. And I mean, congratulations to this kid.
Yeah.
He, we didn't pump him up because he listened to us and he shared our stuff on social media. I mean, the kid, you could tell, was going to be something, and he's talented. And, it's about damn time Syracuse.com sees it. How about that? So, anyways, congratulations to our buddy Gio, man. I'm proud of him. He's a special dude. And when, like we said, with a name like Giovanni Heater, failure is not an option. So the pressure's on Gio. So, anyways, we love him. Good for him. It's awesome to see. So, all right. With that said, we are going to get into the Boston College preview. But you know what we got to do before we get into the Boston College preview? And that is hear from our title sponsors over at BetOnline.ag. I've told you time and time again. Look, unless you're down south like our buddy David down there hitting up the Clemson game, you might not be able to get to the Dome this year to see a game. But there is a consolation prize, and that is BetOnline.ag. All right? They're going to let you get in on all the action. They're going to go the extra mile to make sure you can do so, from game spreads and totals to team, player, and coach and props. BetOnline gives you more options to wager than any other place online. Head over to BetOnline today. Use the promo code ARMCHAIR to take advantage of all of the great sign-up bonuses. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Thank you, BetOnline. Okay, so as it looks right now, the 4-8 Boston Eagles, they're going to come to an empty
Boston College.
Boston College.
You say 4-8
Golden
or 4-3?
Eagles. 4-3. I said 4-8. I did. So I screwed. Let's just start over.
Yeah, let's do that.
The 4-3 Boston College Golden Eagles, they're going to come to an empty but new. Thank you, Joe, for the thumbs up. I appreciate that. An empty but newly remodeled dome to face the 1-6 Syracuse Orange. Look, it's a travesty. We still don't have a plan for fans. At least give us some guidelines. Give us a timeline. Give us something. Throw us a bone. I don't know. Something. Anything. Please. Wins over Duke, Texas State, Pittsburgh, and Georgia Tech. Losses to UNC, Virginia Tech, and Clemson. Though, as we noted, they played Clemson pretty good, and they should be proud of that game. And, those are the ones,
Trevor Lawrence is out, but,
Yeah, I know. But still.
No, yeah.
And once again, the better team just wore down another one. They wore us down. They wore them down.
But like what we talked about, that backup quarterback would probably be a starter in most ACC teams.
Well, he was a
probably,
5-star, isn't he?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So, sophomore quarterback Phil Jerkovic sits fifth in the country in passing yards with 1,875. He's also tied for 13th in the country with touchdowns. He's tied with Sam Howell with 13. Jerkovic, only 4 interceptions, a QB rating of 140.2 for the year so far, over 100 yards rushing as well, some 1.7 yards a carry, whatever. But his success in the passing game really doesn't come from a spectacular run game. David Baylor leads the Golden Eagles with 304 yards on the year so far. He averages only 3.6. The rest of them are pretty lackluster. In fact, as a team, they've only accumulated 662 yards for the season so far. So, take it with a grain of salt. BC has only 2 receivers with 20-plus receptions. Sophomore Zay Flowers, you know that name. He has 536 yards and 5 touchdowns on 32 receptions. And junior tight end Hunter Long with 478 yards, 3 TDs on 41 receptions. So, the defense, Isaiah McDuffie and Max Richardson, they lead the Eagles with 69 total tackles each. McDuffie with 3 sacks and 1 interception to top that off. Senior defensive defensive end, Maximilian Roberts, he leads the team in sacks with 4.5. Now, their defense ranks overall, total defense ranks 49th in the country. Juxtapose that, Syracuse fans, we've kind of hung our hats on the Syracuse defense, minus the past couple of games, but Syracuse's total defense ranks 86th in the country. So, Joe, right when you think you don't have to worry about a run game, you should probably worry about a run game, right? Isn't this how this works? So, the run game's not spectacular for Boston College, but as always,
Yeah, well, I think that kind of comes with a change a little bit. You saw A.J. Dillon, who's been a monster there for 4 years. He went to the NFL last year, and they also had a coaching change. Got rid of Diazio or Steve, and got Jeff Halfley. And he came from Ohio State. He was actually the defensive coordinator at Ohio State, and even before that, he spent the 7 years in the NFL coaching defense, defensive back, stuff like that. So he comes in as a defensive mind, but they kind of changed their offensive philosophy based upon obviously the coaching change, but also the fact that they have one of their better quarterbacks that they've had for quite some time. Jerkovich he's a transfer from Notre Dame, so. And as you said, like a sophomore, and he's obviously a guy that can throw the ball around based upon the stats. So, they've definitely gotten away from the ground game, but that doesn't mean that they don't have they can't just go back to it. And like what you said, this is a game that kind of looks like, we might match up well against them because we have a decent secondary, right? But I mean, other teams, obviously, the coaches are smart and they might come out and try to do what they do, and it might work just from the get-go anyway. But if it doesn't, then obviously I think that they can probably just go back to pounding the rock. And David Bailey is he's a beast. He came in to when A.J. Dillon got hurt last year and kind of relieve him, second string back, and he's not an easy guy to take down. So I don't see, if they do want to run and everything like that, I don't really see our defensive backs at the second level having a real good time tackling him. So. Well,
maybe you do. If you're Boston College, you switch it up and just target that, just because what the run defense for Syracuse has, let go this year so far, and maybe that's your game plan to switch it up and do that. But with that said, if they were to get the running game going, I mean, obviously that's just going to make it worse. And like you said, I totally agree. Like, it looks like on paper that this team matches up good with us, but I got to be honest, man. I mean, just looking at this game coming into it and kind of watching Boston College here and there, I mean, they're pretty good. They're pretty solid. And they're good, and you can see their offense has gotten better as the season's gone on. First 3 games, they were only scoring in the 20s, but the last 4 have been in the 30s, and 2 of them up into the 40s. Jerkovich already thrown for, I think, 4 out of the 7 games for over 300 yards. So, I mean, that's kind of been their bread and butter. But, again, like we talked about, we got some pretty good corners in secondary that has stopped better quarterbacks and receivers this year. So, if that happens again, then they'll just go to the running game, and who knows what will happen for that. But, I mean, obviously, ultimately, we can sit here and we can look at that matchup, but I think we both know that it ultimately comes down to how many points our offense can score against their defense. And with a defensive-minded head coach coming in like this, who's got NFL experience, then coming from Ohio State, that they're going to have a pretty good game plan for us, especially considering that we're limited in what we can do and with our depth and injury issues. So, to me, I mean, I don't know. It's it's tough to really see a good outcome in this one, just because you got a coach that's smart enough that's going to do what he has to do to win. He has won ugly this year, but for the most part, his defense has kept him in every game, but probably the Virginia Tech game. So kind of a younger team too. I mean, they got some juniors on there, but it's not like senior league.
They got some good linebackers too. It's tough to see. It's tough to see McDuffie doing so well over there, because he was a commit that decommitted. He was a Schaefer commit, and then I think something like that, or he decommitted and went to Boston College. But he was originally going to come to Syracuse, and I think he's a fifth-year senior or something like that. So it's interesting to see him out there, tied with the lead in tackles on that team. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough one to watch, obviously, if we can't keep it close on defense. If they score, then we know that it's going to be kind of tough because we're only averaging 19 points a game, 17 points a game, something like that. So, and defenses are just getting more and more tape on what we can do and how it just seems like every week it's easier and easier for these teams to stop what we can do. So it's going to be interesting to see how we can kind of change things up and make it to where we can get some things that Boston College hasn't seen on tape. But again, that's all just preparation this week, and again, we'll see.
Yeah. So with that said, we will obviously just give our predictions at the mybookie.ag picks segment. So we had a couple. You want to pull up Facebook and you can read some of those? Sorry, I didn't prep you for that. I'll do. It's just easier if both of us do it, and I will lead with Twitter. The Twitter. So buy, sell, or hold, Joe. I want to get. Let me know when you got it pulled up here. I'm going to start with. Let me see. Let's start with it. Let's start with this one because I thought this one was fun. So, Garrett Williams will lead in total tackles by the end of the 2020 season. I put up a graphic here. You got Michael Jones leading with 49 total tackles, Canton Arque with 45 total tackles. Then you have Williams with 43, and then Hannah with 35, and then Carter with 33. So, Garrett Williams will lead the year in total tackles by the end of the 2020 season, Joe. What say you?
I'm going to say sell.
Okay.
And it's only just because, he's a cornerback, and traditionally they don't get as many tackles. Now, obviously, teams throw on us, and he hasn't given up a touchdown, but they do get, shorter passes where he makes the, sure tackles, and we do have. He's
targeted a lot for his experience,
for his position experience, and plus on top of that, our linebackers have a really, because normally when you look at teams, linebackers lead the team in tackles, and I don't know if you notice, you probably do, most people probably do, but our rotation of linebackers is kind of crazy. Mikel Jones is up there, Canton Arque's up there, those are our starters, but they flow in like 5 different linebackers, 6 different linebackers in there. So I think with that rotation, I think really that's what's keeping those numbers down and actually making it to where Garrett Williams could possibly get that number, but I'm still gonna sell.
All right, I am gonna sell as well, only because you have a very analytical and thought out reason. Michael Jones is just a beast, man. He's just after it all the time. He's in the position, like you said, to be able to get those extra tackles. And so I say he still beats him out, but he's only behind 6 right now. That's pretty close. It's pretty close in total tackles. So, at Cuse Waterboy says sell. Jones beats him out by 1. At Oil Cuse says sell. And at Al Speech is his name. I don't know the handle. Anyways, he says Jones was lost out there Saturday, but that doesn't answer the question. So, what do you got on Facebook, Joe?
There wasn't too much on Facebook. 3 on Facebook. Top fan Tim. Bye. That kid is hot shit right now, and hope he just keeps getting better.
There he is.
Boy, you were going to owe a fortune to the swear jar.
I didn't say it. I was just reading. Tim said it. Blamed our top fan, Tim.
That's fine. I'm not blaming a top fan for anything, by the way.
I don't want to blame him. I'm just saying I'm going to read what he puts down. So you're just going to have to deal with it, I guess.
You guys heard it here.
Right. And also Jacob buys as well. And we do have one hold. David, hold. Although he's breaking out, let's wait and see what the last few weeks bring us.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. This one obviously had to come up. Okay. Jacoby and Morgan will start before will get a start before the 2020 season ends. Okay? Not for Boston College, not for any particular game, but before the season ends.
Yeah.
Like
there's quite a few comments on this one on Facebook.
Yeah, well, this was the talk of the town this week, so of course. James says Sel Brucey is starting. Is that from Necessary Roughness? Is that what that's from?
No, I think that's from what's the one? Adam
The Longest
Sandler
Yard?
Prison. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Brucey. Okay. He's always clowning us. The guy's never serious, which is why it's hard to be serious with him. Which means we're just going to have that much more fun when he comes on in the bye week. So, all right. At Captain Patrick says, I freaking hope so. So I'm, or at OL Cuse. He says, I freaking hope so. Well, I am assuming that means he's buying, I guess. At Cuse Waterboy's buying. At Sean Jacob Bean is buying. At Tom Harton at 21, buy. No way Rex starts all 4 games left, and Jacobian seems like the next in line. At Matthew. It's not at Matthew. That's his name. I don't know what the hell his handle is. He says do it. So I say he's going to. At Tony Staffieri, buy. Here's one. At R Files 90, hold. If he gives us a few other solid drives, he doesn't need to be great against BC, then he should get a start at Louisville after the bye week. So he's going to hold. But for context, he says, I want him to get the start so we can see what he can be. But my answer is based on how Dino might be thinking. So I read this. I'm like, you know what? That's legit. That's a well thought out answer. So I'm just going to buy because I'm just going to say I think eventually he starts a game. I think it's highly unlikely, but I'm just on the train right now. BC probably not the week, but I'm going to buy. You got a bye week. We're going to see how BC goes. I don't have warm fuzzies about BC. We got a bye week, then we go and play Louisville.
Right.
So to me, it feels like if he does it all, we see him at Louisville maybe. And
yeah, we got a bunch of buys on Facebook.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, Aaron, absolute buy. Top fan Anthony, buy. Chris, buy. Gio, buy. Dan, buy. Steve, buy. Daryl, buy. Morgan will start at least one game. David, buy. The rate things are going, we may as well see what we have for next year. Mike Jones, I'd buy a 2-quarterback system at this point. Play both freshmen and let them do their thing. Play one first half, other second half. Only way to get true look at quarterback is put them in game situations. That's tough. Top fan Zach, I saw that you were going back and forth.
Yeah, love Zach.
Yeah. So he, my first attempt at a comment was this insanely long essay about putting it on hold and how difficult task it'll be for a freshman to start against Notre Dame this year. Lame. I like that, Notre Dame. Then I looked at the schedule and realized they're the last freaking game of the year. He won't start against BC, but if Culpepper can't get anything going, the kid better be in during the second half. I watched his touchdown drive, and man, he throws a pretty ball. His throwing motion is a little weird, but those short passes have a nice zip to them, and that throw on the run was a beautiful spiral. Let the kid play. Bye.
Okay. Well, he buys, and he said he was going to keep it not below essay territory, but that's borderline.
And then there's a couple sells. My brother Alex sold. No reason to throw him in the ringer. Start Rex the rest of the year. Don't throw the freshman in the fire. Let Rex burn this year down as a team. It's his last year anyway.
It's a very Alex comment.
Yes, I like it. Also, top fan Tim sell. I think he gets more minutes, but not a start. And Jacob sell. I don't think Dino lets him. And I guess my answer here would be my hold. This would be my hold.
The guy that come out so articulate about the whole quarterback situation in the last episode is going to hold on the most prominent question posed this year so far. That is weak, bro.
Well, I mean, it's
that
easy
to
say. I'm not going to buy based on situational.
Okay, right.
I'm going to hold based upon the fact of I feel like if he does start a game, it's going to be because of a Rex Culpepper injury.
Okay,
and because of the fact that based upon what I heard from Dino, there could be a situation where maybe
Dylan
another
starts.
quarterback jumps Jacoby and Morgan and starts instead. So that's why I'm going to hold.
All right, fair enough. Golly. Okay.
Sorry you don't like my answers, bro.
So annoying. All right, one more, and then we're going to get into BetOnline.ag picks.
There you go.
I was thinking about what I needed to say, and it was not coming to me. I had to close my eyes and concentrate. Okay. All right, let's see. The Orange will win at least one more game this year. All right. At Cuse Waterboy, bye. Morgan will finally start and do well, which will fire up the defense, and we shock a team like Louisville or NC State. That is a possibility. In my little pea brain, that's a possibility.
No. When they beat Clemson, they beat Virginia Tech, nobody thought it was going to happen either, right? So,
well, true. I mean, I'm just saying, he's like not doubling down, but he's adding an extra element of prediction to this by saying that not only will Morgan start a game, but he's going to win another game for Syracuse. So I like that. It's very bold.
That is bold.
At Drew Cuse, I'm going to buy. There's going to be a game where everything works and they play damn near perfect. It's going to happen. Love the optimism there. At 73_B_sell. The rule, Brandon, thank you. Brandon's on here quite a bit. I think he changed his handle because I don't remember it being that. But you know what's always great when you do a buy, sell, or hold? Explain. It doesn't have to be like a Zach explanation or like a Joe explanation, but just a little something. Okay, Joe, what do you got on Facebook?
So on Facebook, we had 7 comments. Hey, Tim Abbott, top fan, sell. David, I sell the heck out of this. I love the Orange, but I'm not feeling very confident about winning. Thought Clemson inspired something in them, but guess not. Yeah. # I'm the new top fan.
But you're not, David. You got to keep going, buddy.
Yeah. Daryl, sell. 0 chance we win another game.
Daryl, former top fan Daryl.
Steve Malley, sell. Top fan Tim again getting on there. Sell. Even with 2 more home games, they will be in an empty dome that won't inspire anything. Greg Eckert, sell. Jacob Carpenter, sell.
Okay. All right.
So everyone's on that the sell train on Facebook, and I'm going to have to agree.
You're selling too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what? Unfortunately, I love the optimism on Twitter, and which is not a place I would normally go for optimism. But I will. But I will. I will just say, and I'm going to try not to make this a trend, but I'm not calculated, but I am calculated in this. Sometimes when I make these predictions on my own team, it's because it's good being right, but sometimes it's better being wrong. So I'm gonna sell too, man. I just don't think they can put a full game together to do it. And, one full game put together, well, I can't say that because they were, well, yeah, no, I can. Yeah, one full game that was put together is not enough to show me, and I'm just crushed right now. So we will see. We will see. Well, what, Joe? Because we're about to head in.
No, we're good. Go.
Okay. All right. Time for the BetOnline.ag picks of the week. We will quickly let you know who is the champion from last week. And then we will go ahead and proceed to do our picks. We got 6 games to go over. But first, let me tell you about our title sponsor. That is BetOnline.ag. Go there. Football's in full effect. Many teams out there strutting their stuff. You know it. I know it. You might not be able to get to a game this year, but BetOnline is going the extra mile to make sure you can get in on everything imaginable, from game spreads and totals to team, player, and coach and props. BetOnline gives you more options to wager than any other place online. Head to BetOnline today. Use the promo code ARMCHAIR to take advantage of all of the great sign-up bonuses. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Thank you, BetOnline. Look, as you know, the Lawnmower 1.0. And then there was the Lawnmower 2.0. And then there was the Lawnmower 3.0. Well, guess what? And then there was the Shears 2.0. The Shears 2.0 are so good, I don't even remember the Shears 1.0, all right? Manscaped is forever changing the grooming game with their new Weed Whacker. This is a nose and ear hair trimmer that provides proprietary skin-safe technology which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes, being the ears in the nose. The premium Manscaped Weed Whacker uses, 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual-blade system. Its intelligently contoured design enhances the trimming experience, and it's waterproof, which makes it easy for operation and cleaning. This is the only nose and ear hair trimmer on the market with a powerful rechargeable lithium-ion battery that lasts up to 90 minutes on one charge. Now, if you're like Joe and you sit and do podcasts and things like that and pluck your nose hairs with your fingers and make your eyes water, look, that's ridiculous. Don't put yourself through that torture. Go to manscaped.com right now. They're making whacking easy, all right? And look, I told you this. I'm going to tell you again because it's a terrific stat, and I'm a stat guy. 79% of partners polled admitted that long nose hair is a major turnoff. It's gross. It's gross. Look, either take some scissors to that jank or go to manscaped.com. Check out the Weed Whacker. Check out the Spritzel for the Schnitzel. Check out the Cologne and the Lawnmower 3.0. You can't get by without it. Look, go there now. Get 20% off and free shipping and use the promo code armchair at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping by using the promo code armchair at manscaped.com. What are you waiting for? Thank you. Manscaped.com. Okay. So, I have to relinquish the championship the championship belt. Okay, you want it to be a belt? Okay, whatever. Because I stunk it up big time, ladies and gentlemen. Just really, really bad. Really bad. So, I did so bad, Joe, that I don't even have my sheet. Here it is. I did so bad, though, that I didn't even tally it. As I was going through, I was 5 games. I was 1-4. Joe, you were 2-3. Which one did I hit on? Which one did you hit on? Obviously, we both lost the Syracuse game. We both lost. We both
won the Virginia Tech game.
Okay.
They covered against Louisville by 3, and you took North Carolina to win by more than 6.5, and I took Virginia plus the points, and Virginia won outright.
I will say, possibly the game of the week too, and you chose that for game of the week. That was a pretty good game. So
yeah,
I would say it was the game of the week too. So you did it too for Joe. I'm a little jelly right now. I'm a little jealous. I'm a little upset by it. And to be quite honest with you, I'm just going to fuel my fire to just come out all guns blazing. And look, I got an email from BetOnline.ag, and they're like, look, you guys, the both of you, okay? I know you pass a imaginary belt back and forth, but you're using our name, and you're doing a terrible job and actually deterring people from going to our website and gambling. So maybe just do the opposite of what we say. Try that. Maybe that's how you make money. All right, let's start with Boston College at the empty Syracuse, newly renovated Syracuse Dome. I don't know what to call it. The Dome. We don't call it the Syracuse Dome, right? So anyway, Syracuse going into that game in their newly renovated empty dome as a 14-point underdog. Now, look, I'm just going to come out. I'm being a negative Nancy this week because basically it's the way I try to give us a fighting chance. Okay? So, Joe, you got your little doohickey all set up?
Yep.
Okay. All right. I am going to take Boston College. I'm sorry, guys. You can hate me. You can cuss me out on Twitter, but I do it for all of us, okay? It's called taking one for the team. Joe.
I'm going to take Boston College as well. I think
doesn't help at all.
We looked at the standings. Boston College, they find themselves smack dab in the middle of the standings where they've lost to 3 teams in the top 6 or 7 and beat 3 teams or 2 teams in the bottom 6 or 7. So they're right in the middle. And they're a little bit better than those lower teams. So it's really going to take something like a turnover game like Georgia Tech where we score points and get 5 turnover. And something like that to keep us inside that 14-point range. So I just don't see it. I hope it happens, but again, I'm going right there with you. In Boston College, there's nothing that I've seen that it's going to tell me otherwise.
Miami at NC State. Miami will come into that game as a 10.5-point favorite. Both of these teams are coming off of byes, so they are getting healthy from any injuries they had, and you don't usually see two teams come. Well, I guess you do here and there, but fortunately for NC State, they at least got a bye with Miami, I guess.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
it's a Friday night game too.
Is it? I see. I don't have game. Yep. Oh yeah, I do. 7:30. Yeah, that's awesome.
Friday night.
Yeah, that's fun. That'll be great. Man. Oh, man. I don't have many reasons other than NC State has let me down when I've picked them in the past, and I really thought they were doing really good, and they were, and they did surprise me a couple times. I did win on them a couple times. I kept the faith in them, but I just see Miami covering that 10.5 points, even though they're playing at NC State. They're going to be playing in front of fans, though, aren't they? So
yep.
I just don't think it's enough. I think Miami takes it.
Yeah, I am kind of going to go opposite with you here, and it's only because Miami has kind of let me down when I picked them. So, NC State kind of had a letdown the week before their bye, and Dave Dorn coming off the bye, I just don't know. I just don't see them, like at least their defense coming out playing like that. I know they brought in Ryan Finley's little brother to come in for Bailey Hockman, some part during.
He just was. He was just okay though.
Yeah, he was just okay. But when you get a bye week and you get something like that, then you never really know what you can do. And maybe they just game plan for Bailey Hockman. But I just see a situation where Miami's not going to blank them, and I just can't see NC State playing with the lack of motivation like they did 2 weeks ago. So. Plus at home with some fans, I'm going to take NC State plus 10.5.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going opposite.
No. Well, you thought wrong.
Yeah, no, I took Miami. You're right. So, I took Miami. You took NC State.
Yeah.
All right. On to, I probably should have looked ahead here. Let's see. Liberty plays Virginia Tech. I would just say that we're not doing this one, but I would keep my eye on that game. I think that's going to be a worth
15-point underdog right now.
Yeah, but I think it's worth watching, at least for the first half. See what happens.
Liberty's 7-0. We'll just see how good they really are.
Yeah, exactly. It'll give you a good gauge for sure.
Yep.
All right. The rivalry, supposedly these have let us down so far this year. North Carolina at Duke. I'm going to say that this is going to let us down again. North Carolina coming off of a loss, scored a lot of points. Duke high on their horse after beating Charlotte 53-19. I just don't think. I don't know. It's good for Duke to go out there and just beat on someone. That's great. North Carolina ranked anymore, Joe? I mean, they might be ranked, but they were 15th when they lost to unranked UVA.
Yeah, they.
Where'd they drop to?
I'll get back to you on that. Keep going.
Okay. All right. So. With that said, North Carolina coming off a loss to an unranked Virginia, I think that North Carolina is just a better team, and I think it goes without saying. It's not a ton of points, 11 points. I don't think it's enough, but Duke coming on. I mean, does Duke get those? Does Duke draw that closer because they beat someone 53-19? I mean, that's factored into this, right?
Oh yeah,
but it's Charlotte.
When you talk about it's a recent bias type thing.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm going North Carolina. I'll give Duke the 11 points.
Yeah, I'm going the same way. I checked the AP. It looks like they fell out of the AP top 25, but in the coaches poll, they're still 24th. So yeah, we saw that Duke wasn't world beaters, right? So it's a situation. Again, it could be the recent bias of the fact that Duke just killed Charlotte, right? And North Carolina just lost. But North Carolina put a bunch of points, and their defense kind of just they underwhelmed. And I don't think Mac Brown's going to let that happen again, especially against a team like Duke, where they don't even have an offense like Virginia. When Virginia has their health good, like they did. So I do think that with that and the fact that even though Duke's in the state of North Carolina where you are allowed to have fans, I think as a private school they're still deciding not to. So there's still going to be an empty stadium. So I'm going to go North Carolina as well.
All right, this one here. Pittsburgh at Florida State. Pittsburgh going to be heading to Florida State as a 2.5-point underdog. Okay? So, both of these teams coming off a bye. And I don't know about Kenny Pickett. And obviously, that's a conundrum. So
I was going to say, who does?
Florida State, just not that impressive. I am going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say that Kenny Pickett plays. And I mean, it's been 3 weeks. I say Pickett plays, and they clear 2.5. Pitt.
Okay. All right. Well, I just kind of did a Google search while you were sitting there giving your little talk, and I'm seeing a Pittsburgh Sports Now report saying that Kenny Pickett's still not running on injured ankle. Joey Yellen again expected to start for Pitt.
Okay, can I change my? Can I change that?
Yeah, you can change if you like.
I'm not going to. I'm sticking with Pitt.
Oh, okay.
Faked you out.
Okay.
Faked you out.
I like it, sneaky. Yeah, no, Pittsburgh, obviously, since Kenny Pickett got hurt, they've been on a kind of a downward spiral. Losing a game, obviously. I mean, Pickett started against NC State where they lost by 1, and I think he got injured in the game the very next week at Boston College where they lost by 1 in overtime. But after that, they lost by 12 against a ranked Miami team, and they got smoked by Notre Dame, obviously. So I see a situation where they lost pretty close games to teams like that, and but they're not scoring points with this Yellen guy. So I'm going Florida State at home.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Okay. Now, the spread on that is not going to fool me either. I'm surprised that with the projections of Kenny Pickett, that it's that close, too.
Well, Florida State, as you said, is not the greatest team, but I think that they have been improving a little bit.
Yeah. And they're both coming off of buys. So Florida State, I think the edge goes to Florida State there if Kenny Pickett doesn't play, right? It's can they keep it that close or win? Now,
right. Well, and Florida's going to have fans quite a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, what do they allow? 20,000? Half capacity, what? They might be full. Dude, they might be full. Capacity.
It's more than 7% here.
Yeah. All right. Louisville at Virginia. Louisville is going to come into that game as a 3-point underdog. Look, I don't know how this is even that close, to be honest with you. I can't believe that this is at 3 points. It's almost like a gimme. For me, honestly, Virginia coming off of a 44-41 win over number 15 North Carolina, this is too easy. I just take Virginia. As a 3-pointer, they're at home. It's a no-brainer. I can't even believe that. It's terrible. Joe.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. Okay. I mean, Louisville played Virginia Tech good, and Virginia Tech is a good team. So Virginia playing North Carolina. I'm right there with you, man. I got to go with it. I mean, you pretty much said everything that I was going to say or about what I was going to say. So I'm right there with you, man.
Okay, now I think the consensus is strong right now. We only disagree so far on NC State and Miami, and that's going to be probably another dagger to me. And Joe will probably get to keep the. Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay, true. That's probably going to suck for me as well. So let's look at this game. This is my game of the week. It's the last one we're doing anyway, so I might as well just come out and say it. 2 undefeateds. You got number 4 going against number 1. And real quick, a question before we get into this, Joe. If Clemson beats Notre Dame, is Notre Dame a contender for the playoffs still? Because we remember what happened the past 2 times Notre Dame was in the playoffs. What happened to them? They got smoked by Alabama, and then they got smoked by Clemson. And
yeah, I know where you're going with this, but again, I think there's too much because I don't even know what the NCAA is planning on doing with like the Big Ten who started. I mean, are they going to be eligible?
Yeah, the rankings. Some of these others. Yeah, the rankings are weird right now. They're putting them up in the rankings. You got Ohio State who's up there right now. You got Georgia that's up there right now. So I don't know where Michigan is. I mean, I know they're not like, I mean, Ohio State's playing like. Who are they playing this weekend? Rutgers. I mean, so I don't know. I don't know how that's going to wind up. But I'm just saying, they're 4th, so you got to assume they're in that slot right now. If they beat Clemson, obviously, if they beat Clemson, they're going to, that's going to be you just flip the script, basically. I think Clemson could still be able to get back in there, but, I mean, I don't know. That's even tough. But they do have Miami left. And they would have. Hold on, who else would they have left? No, they would not have. They would not have Miami left.
They talking Notre Dame?
No, I'm sorry. I'm talking about Clemson. They would have not a whole lot of opportunity in Florida State, Pitt, and Virginia Tech to get back up there. So I don't know, and I don't know how that works out. But I thought it was an interesting point because these guys are both undefeated, 1st and 4th. Look, my heart is with Clemson. I am not like a Clemson hater. I don't find it like it's not like to me for football of old. It's hard to find, Boston College. It's not like the Boston College rivalry. It's not like, the Pitt rivalry to me. Like Clemson just doesn't bother me. We beat them that one time. It was fantastic, but there's like not many NCAA football teams that just rub me the wrong way more than Notre Dame. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I got to say, if Trevor Lawrence, I imagine he's going to play 5.5 points underdog Notre Dame is. I mean, I got to imagine Clemson just.
I don't think he is.
You don't think he is coming back? How many negative tests does he need? Like 3 or something like that? He should be able to come back. It shouldn't last that long.
Yeah, well, I know that they were talking about a situation where I know last week during that Saturday, Trevor Lawrence will travel with Clemson to Notre Dame, beat Coach Lawrence versus Irish.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Beat Coach Lawrence.
He just can't play because of the cardiac back-to-play protocol that's in place. Rules required players to isolate for at least 10 days from the start of symptoms or a positive test.
All right, I'm going to give this 2 ways. I hope Clemson waxes the floor with a freshman quarterback against Notre Dame. But I'm going to take Notre Dame, and I'm going to hope that gives them the curse. Because me no curse? Yeah, the Sean's BetOnline.ag pick curse.
Got you.
So... I mean, so that's a tough one. Yeah, and I still stick to what I said. I think that's the game of the week. I think that's the one in the ACC to really watch. Obviously,
yeah,
obviously, right 2 undefeateds going.
I don't want to copy you, but I'm looking at everything else, and I can't see anything that's even close. No. I mean, there could be close games, but as far as drawing a 1 versus 4, I mean, you're absolutely right, and I'm also kind of going to go with with your Notre Dame pick, when I look at Notre Dame and I look at the amount of points that they've given up, 13 to Duke. They blanked USF, 26 points against FSU, which a lot of that was garbage time, 7 to Louisville, 3 to Pitt, and 13 to Georgia Tech. And now you're going to have this freshman quarterback, which albeit you got a great team around you, and he's a 5-star, but he's not Trevor Lawrence yet. He doesn't have the college experience and the stuff. So I'm not saying they can't win.
Good practice for him, though, against Boston College last week, coming back and winning that game, too. He's very poised, mature guy.
Right now, Notre Dame's looking like they got one of the better defenses, if not the best defense.
They're huge.
Minus maybe. They got a great defense, and just the scenarios and the situation with Trevor Lawrence being out. I got Notre Dame in this, especially getting 5.5 at home because they can still lose and you'd still cover. If there's a field goal or something like that. Mm-hmm. But in this instance, when you talk about Notre Dame, Clemson, and if Notre Dame loses and everything. This is a situation, I think, where if Notre Dame loses because of the rest of their, after Clemson, they have at Boston College, at North Carolina, Syracuse, and at Wake. So it's not like they have a bunch of world beaters. So in this scenario, they don't have a lot of big-time games to be able to up their
Neither
resume.
one of them do. So
but the issue is that Clemson's always going to have that thing in their back pocket of, if they lose and it's close, if Trevor Lawrence would have played, on top of the fact that they've won the national championship a couple years in a row, right? So it's like you have a situation where Clemson's more likely to be included. And on top of that, you also have to think there's going to be an ACC championship, and it's going to be the top two. And right now it's looking like the only ones that are involved,
those
Notre Dame and Clemson are both
so they
undefeated.
Right. They could go Miami, 1-1, right?
Right. Miami is got one loss, and Miami doesn't play Notre Dame, but they did lose to Clemson. So if Clemson were to lose, then they're in a better position to be able to make and fight their way back in. But realistic, because I don't know what happens if Notre Dame loses and then Miami wins out. Who gets in between Notre Dame and Miami to play against Clemson? But if Clemson wins, then they're going to get in over Miami, even if Miami runs the table. So it would be just a rematch of Clemson Notre Dame, but this time with Trevor Lawrence and not at Notre Dame. Right. And if Notre Dame were to lose that game, then they might get bounced out depending on what happens. If you get an undefeated Ohio State in the Big Ten, and then you get
Georgia,
you get an undefeated Georgia and Alabama playing each other in the SEC championship, both those teams will be included as well. So Notre Dame's in a kind of a situation where, honestly, I don't even want to say they can lose this game and still get into that ACC championship. And then if they were to beat Clemson in the ACC championship, then they would probably be included, and Clemson would be left out.
So it gets murky.
It definitely gets murky, but Clemson's definitely in a more favorable position if they were to lose.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
Just wouldn't be able to lose again.
Yeah, exactly. They couldn't lose the championship, assuming they both make it there.
Right.
So, which is probable. It's probable, in my opinion. So, all right, that is it. Don't hold us to these.
No, yeah, exactly. Okay. We've obviously proven that we're not. Come on.
It would be nice to do a podcast and be like, where we both did really good somehow. I don't know how that's possible. One of us has got to win, one of us got to lose at some point, but that we did really good. Because it's not easy. It's just a weird year. It's a weird year, and
the betting is not easy.
The betting is tough. They make it so tough.
If it was easy, everyone would do it and win money.
That's true.
If it was easy, Vegas would be broke.
That's true. It's also true, Joe. But, do what you will. Be responsible. Don't drink and bet. All right.
Yeah.
That is going to do it for us. I want to thank all of you for listening. Thank you so much for hanging with us and listening to this mediocre show twice a week. Appreciate you, BetOnline. Appreciate you, Manscaped.com. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Peace.